I pull up to her throwing my stuff out of her house. She like, you gotta go. You and them babies, y'all gotta get out. Y'all cannot live here. You gotta get out. You gotta go. I called that woman's shelter and I told them you were coming. So you better go up there and tell them your baby daddy beating on you because you cannot live here or you're gonna be sleeping in your car. What's up? What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Cutie Queen, back at it again with you with another video of me just rambling. So, I might remake this video because I'm really just gonna wing it because this has just been on my mind. But what it's like to be a single mother. I was gonna take notes, but I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna come from the heart. So what it's like being a single mother? First, let me tell you guys, if you don't know me, I have 3 children. I have 2 girls and 1 boy. My 2 girls are the oldest. My son is the baby. My oldest is about to be 6 tomorrow. My middle child is 4. She'll be 5 in September. And my baby is 1 and he'll be 2 in December. So they're all fairly close in age. Too many kids, if you ask me. 3 is too many kids. So, I am a single mother, not by choice. I don't care what anyone says or tells you. I am not a single mother by choice. I am a single mother because of the choices that their dads made. Whether that is to be a bum and just not be able to financially take care of their children, whether that's not being a good father figure, which I mean like they don't have good morals and principles when it comes to being a father. Whether it's they're in prison, so they didn't make good choices for themselves, which put their family in a bind, or whether it's all those things in one. It was not my choice to be a single mother. Now, you may argue and say, well, you're the one who laid down and had sex with the man, and you should have picked a better man before you had a baby. I'm not going to argue with you about that, because I agree. I should have picked better men to have children with. I should have made better decisions when it came to opening my legs. Now, I don't even have that type of contact with the opposite sex. Because for one, I fear having another baby and becoming a single mother times 4. And 2, I respect my body way more now than what I ever did. Ever. Way more than what I've ever did. Well, I can't say ever, because there was a time in life where I just didn't want to do, because I didn't want to. But there was a time that I was all the time. It's like I had no self-respect. But now I do. I have way more respect for my body, my mind, my soul. I now look at as a sacred thing. So I don't do it anymore. But with all that being said, that's also, when people say that, that's also like giving an excuse for men. Oh, the woman should have chose a better man to lay down and have sex with, so that excuses him from being a father. No, and this is where I would disagree. Regardless on who I chose to lay down with, and regardless on how many I chose down to lay with and have children with, that does not excuse neither one of these men from taking care of their children. They should grow up and be men and take care of their kids, period. It shouldn't matter. It's just as much as my child as it is theirs. Regardless of me carrying the baby for 9 months and having to pop in their mouth for them to eat and survive, it's still their child, and they should be a man and be there for them the right way. So with all that being said, being a single mother is hard. It's not easy. It's not a choice. For me, it's not. Well, okay, let me say it like this. It became a choice. I gave one father too many chances. Too many chances to prove to me that he could be a man, to prove to me that he could be a father, to prove to me that he could be a good example for my daughters, be a man that they would choose. Too many chances. And constantly, it's like every time I let him into my children's life, something happens. Like something happens, like some drama. Like now I'm going through some drama. And that too, the women he chooses or chose or has, whatever. I'm not in the man business, so I don't know what he got. But the women that the man choose also make it hard for you to co-parent. Because for some reason, some women feel like just because a man has a baby with someone, he always has access to her. And that is not true. Well, not for me. That's not true. Just because I have a baby with you does not mean you have access to me. So it's a lot of things that factor into why I chose but didn't choose to become a single mother. You know, once you give somebody so many chances to prove to you that they can be that type of man for their children and they just constantly let you down, it's like some point you have to put a stop to it. Like some point you have to choose your children's happiness and your children's safety and be like, no more, you know, no more coming in and out, no more leaving my kids at the house with other little kids, stuff like that. No more of that. I'm not putting myself in danger so they can spend time with you, and I'm not putting my kids in danger so they can spend time with you. It's just not gonna happen. So with all those things in mind you, I'm only 24 years old. Being a single mother is tough. It's hard, especially when you're young. It's because, you know, you have to have everything figured out. You have to. And if you don't have it figured out, you're gonna have a hard time. So for instance, I still don't have it figured out. So I'm still having a hard time juggling life, juggling work, juggling being a content creator, juggling 3 kids by myself. I'm juggling, y'all, there's so much that comes with being a single mother. Not only do I have to clothe and feed myself, but I have to clothe and feed other 3 little people. I have to make sure they have shirts, pants, shoes, socks, panties, drawers, well, Pampers for my baby because he's still in Pampers. So he needs Pampers, wipes because I gotta wipe his butt, and shoes, socks, all that for all these kids. Plus, let's not even count extracurricular things. So if I want to put my kids in karate, singing lessons, or whatever the case may be, I gotta have money for that if I want them to be able to achieve dreams and goals and things. You know, I want to install a lot into my kids. I do. I want to install a lot into my kids. Right now, I'm not able to install or able to afford everything I want to install in them. And it's just like, it sucks, because it's like not only do you have to deal with the things that come with it being a parent, but you also have to stomach that some things you can't do right now. And I know for a fact that these 3 little kids have changed my life because they put a lot of responsibility on me. And when I was younger, I was irresponsible. I mean, I paid my own phone bill and occasionally bought my own, more than occasionally, bought my own food, bought my own clothes and hair products, and worked and hustled all my life, honestly. And so now it's like I'm not doing that for myself no more. So I have to make better choices financially. I can't just go and come as I please. Not now, at least. Eventually, I know that I will be able to hire a nanny that I can trust to be a part of my kids' life and help me raise them, that I can leave them with the nanny and go and live my best life. Because y'all, I so desperately need it. A lot of moms won't admit that because they don't want to sound like a bad parent, But I so desperately need to get away from these kids. And I so desperately need to get away from these responsibilities that are on me. Sometimes it gets too heavy. Sometimes you feel alone. And sometimes you feel lost. So it's like dealing with all that for 6 years. Let me say I've been dealing with all this for 6 years. That's a long time. I don't think a 3-day vacation would even help me all the way. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice though to get away and just be by myself or be around my best friend who's also a single parent, not by choice. She does have a lot of help though. She has a lot of help. My best friend, she has help from the dad's family. The dad is not there physically, but financially he is a lot of help. So she does have a lot of help, which I'm not saying it's easy for her, because it's not. She tells me all the time, like, I feel for you, because even with all the help I have, it's still hard. So I don't know how you doing it with 3 and no help. So I don't know how I do it. I don't. I know that I just do it, and I know that I do it because I have to, and I know that I do it because if don't nobody else do it, who gonna do it? Who gonna do it if I don't do it, you know? So being a single mother is a task, something that I could write a book about, honestly. I could write a book about it. I haven't mastered being a single parent, but I know that one day I will master it. I will have it all together. I will have everything I ever wanted as a single parent. Now, I ain't saying I'm gonna be a single parent forever. Oh, y'all, them mosquitoes be tearing me up. I'm not saying I'm gonna be a single parent forever. That's definitely not. Let me make sure I'm still recording. I'm definitely not gonna be a single parent forever. I do have someone that I love dearly, and I love him to death. And I'm praying God puts us together as a couple, as a power couple at that, and lets us show the world what it looked like for 2 Black people to love their kids and take care of their kids. But I have at least 2 more years of this by myself. And one day I sat and I thought, like, damn, 2 more years of this. I'm not even gonna lie, I was in a real negative space when I had this conversation with him about having to do this, possibly having to do this for 2 more years, or even possibly having to do this for another year. And it's so crazy. He was only in my life for a short amount of time before he got taken away. He's in prison. He was only in my life for a short amount of time before he got taken away, but oh my God, y'all, for the short amount of time that he was there, it was so much help. Like, it was so much help, so much weight lifted off my shoulders. He literally let me share my burdens with him. And he didn't even know how much that was helping me, how free I felt. And it's like I felt free, but with him, you know? So when that got taken away from me, it was like a shock. I cried for days because I was like, who gonna do the laundry? Like, who the fuck gonna go wash these clothes? Like, I was shocked. I was hurt, y'all. I had to figure it out again, like, by myself. And I guess I just enjoyed the freedom so much. I cherished it so much. That's why it hurt me so much when it got taken from me. And as a single mother, I can say I've come a long way, y'all. Let me tell you. I went from sleeping in my truck, and a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them this. Like, I was sleeping in my truck. I have a Dodge 2004 Ram, literally a truck, and it's a whole story before this, but I'm gonna just tell y'all this part. I ended up coming back from Houston to Lubbock. I went to go stay with my grandma because I didn't have nowhere else to go. All I had was my truck, and all I had was my things that I could fit in my truck, and all I had was my babies. At the time, I only had 2 babies. I had my daughters, which is me and them. And let me give y'all a little background on my grandma. My grandma is the first African-American female, her and my grandpa, to own a Black-owned pharmacy here where I stay in Texas. So that should already kind of give you an idea of the type of life they lived. They were a pharmacist, and they were the first Black-owned pharmacy. I'm not holding this close. They were the first Black-owned pharmacy. So yeah, and they had money. She has a big house, multiple rooms. She lived by herself. At the time, she was living there by herself. And I've always been the black sheep of my family. And it took me a while to accept that, but I finally have accepted that. So yeah, I'm still living with my grandma, and I didn't want to be there. Honestly, I didn't want to be there. But I accepted my circumstances, and I was real respectful of being in her house. Like at the time, I used to smoke. I didn't have that in her house though, because that's disrespectful to someone who doesn't smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have that in her house. I didn't have that around at all. I honestly wasn't at the time, because for one, I couldn't afford it, and two, I was in somebody else's house. So yeah, I went to live with her, and I had finally got me a job at the Marriott. I finally had started working there. I was already struggling with finding childcare. At the time, I didn't know about CCS. So I was already struggling with finding childcare. So that was already a struggle within itself, finding somebody to watch 2 little babies. So I'm ripping and running around, dropping my babies off here, dropping my babies off there, just so I can go to work. Mind you, my grandma she older, but she's way more capable of taking care of. They can go to the restaurant by themselves. At this age, they could have went to the restaurant by themselves, like they on booty and all that. All you had to do was make sure they weren't getting in trouble and feed them. But she didn't want to help me watch them, but she literally watched somebody else's kids while I was there, y'all. So anyways, so I guess my grandma just got tired of me being there. Y'all, I was literally only there for like 2 weeks. And she told me that there was a women's shelter, that if I told them that my baby daddy was beating on me, they would let me live there. So I'm thinking, like, why do I have to do that? Like, you're here in this house by yourself. We literally don't bother you, because I was working so much, we were rarely there. Like, why are you making me go out to this women's shelter about my baby daddy beating on me so I can go live there? And mind y'all, at the time, my phone was also turned off. So I was using Wi-Fi when I could to find a babysitter and handle my business. So one day I came home from work. I had literally just got off work. And I pull up to her throwing my stuff out of her house. She like, you gotta go. You and them babies, y'all gotta get out. Y'all cannot live here. You gotta get out. You gotta go. I called that woman's shelter and I told them you were coming. So you better go up there and tell them your baby daddy beating on you, because you cannot live here or you gonna be sleeping in your car. Now, 2 of my cousins live there with her happily. 2 of my cousins live there with her happily. But me, when I needed it, 2 cousins that don't need it at that. They have a place. They have parents that have money. They take care of them. And they have jobs. Like, they don't need it. But the one person who needed it, this is how you treated her. Like, I needed it. And I was ashamed to admit it, but I swallowed my pride. So that happened. She kicked me out. I had nowhere else to go. It was raining. Had my babies and all my shit in my trunk. So I took my ass to the women's shelter. And, y'all, I'm not gonna cry. But your girl done been through a lot. So I took my ass to that women's shelter, y'all. Why they didn't have no Wi-Fi? They didn't have no Wi-Fi. They let me go there. They put me in a room, y'all. That room was so filthy. Then I had to share it with a whole nother family. Like, we literally had to sleep. All of us had to sleep in a room, which I wasn't tripping. And then she had her and all her kids in a room. They had their own bathroom, and then we had a bathroom. And I guess the people who lived there before, they was just filthy, and they didn't go clean it up after the people left. So it's still just there's shit everywhere, trash that they left all in the closets, all in the bathroom. The bathroom was filthy, like ugh. The whole house was just filthy, y'all. The cleanest part of the house was the living room and her room, because she cleaned and she living there. So it was just filthy. Like the beds, it just stunk in there. It was roaches and dead roaches everywhere. Like it was just like, y'all, I cried. I didn't even sleep that night. I cried all night. I didn't even sleep that night. I cried all night staring at my babies, because I felt I'm not gonna cry, y'all, because I felt like a failure. Like I'm thinking, like, how did my life get like this? How did my life get like this? Like, I don't even know why I'm crying, y'all, because today I'm sitting in my house. A house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, full kitchen, backyard, front yard. Like, ooh. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional, y'all. I honestly don't talk about this. I don't talk about this because, for one, people around me who know my grandparents wouldn't believe me. Wouldn't believe that she did me like that, because she'll help everybody. She'll help everybody else, but when it comes to me, I just don't get that from her, or whatever the case may be. So I had to make that hard choice. Like I said, they didn't have no Wi-Fi, and that was the only way I was able to get a babysitter and stuff. So I had to get up that morning, go to like a McDonald's or something, and I had to tell my manager that the girl that just started working here can't find a babysitter, so I'm gonna be trying to handle this. I ended up losing that job because it was so hard trying to find a babysitter with no Wi-Fi. Like, no Wi-Fi, texting people, they not texting me back as soon as I'm texting them. So I'm getting back to them when I can. They getting back to me when they can. It was just hard. So I had to make that choice, y'all. I went to go stay with my dad. That's a whole story, y'all. Long story short, my dad's crazy. Very crazy. He ended up pulling a gun out on me in front of my babies, whipped me with a belt like I was a slave. Whew, y'all, I'm gonna post this on YouTube. This is tough, but I feel like somebody needs to hear it. Whipped me like a slave. The father of my baby, my son, that's who I was dealing with at the time. That's who I love dearly, and I love that man to death, y'all. But that's what I was dealing with at the time. He didn't believe me. Like, oh, your dad ain't do that. He ain't whip you. Your daddy crazy, but he can't be that crazy. Like, he letting you drive his Escalade. That's what he was thinking. Until one day, it had probably been a couple of days, but he whipped me, and I had, welts and bruises all over my body. And so I was wearing long sleeve shirts and stuff to cover it up, because I didn't want nobody seeing that. Until one day I just took my jacket off. I was hot, and my shirt rose up, and it was a long welt bruise on my arm. And he was like, you gotta get out of there. He was like, you gotta get out of there. You gotta get your babies out of there. He was like, you got money. Like, why won't you just leave? I was like, I'm trying to save up more money. Like, I was so traumatized, and still traumatized, honestly. I was so traumatized by my grandma kicking me out and making me go to a women's shelter that I wanted to make sure that I was secure before I moved into my own place, even if that meant, getting whipped. But after he pulled that gun out on me, I was like, I gotta go. So I left, and I went to my first baby daddy, because the one that I was messing with, he ain't had nowhere to go either. Like, we was basically living out of my car, like, both of us. So I went to my first baby daddy parents' house. I'm not gonna say his house. I went to his parents' house, because that ain't his house. And his mom at the time was in the hospital, so she wasn't even there. His dad don't pay attention. Like, literally, he just plays the game. He don't pay attention. So he ain't noticed that I was sleeping outside of my car. You know what I'm saying? But my babies was sleeping inside that house, and I was sleeping inside my car. And so this was around like March, February. So it was still very cold outside, but I had lots of blankets and I still had all my clothes and stuff. So I used to stack up I had bags of clothes. So I would stack them up. I slept in the back. So the 2 front seats, I'll push them up and I'll put them bag of clothes right there, throw a blanket over, it'd be like a big bed. And then I had like 3 other blankets and some pillows. And so, I was sleeping in my car. I slept in my car for like a week. I slept in my car for a week, and then I finally got into this apartment. It was, y'all, and at the time, I didn't know that I could get into something better because I'm thinking I got an eviction on my name. Come to find out, the people that kicked me out never actually filed the eviction, so I could have went somewhere way better. But I ended up going in the hood, like the east side where all the black people ain't really the hood. Over there where the Mexicanos is at, now that's more hood and ghetto than over there. So, I mean, it was roach infested. Disgusting. Maintenance, all they did was niggery shit. Like, they didn't actually fix nothing. It was a townhome, had a little backyard. You know, it wasn't the best situation. We had no dishwasher, no washer jar connections. It was just a sink and a stove and refrigerator and roaches. But the rent was only $550, so it worked for me to be getting back on my feet. And then I ended up finding out I was pregnant. So I'm like, fuck, I'm pregnant. Now I got to take care of 3 kids. So it worked out though. I honestly thrived a lot in that apartment because the rent was so cheap. I was able to pay rent, take care of my babies, buy them stuff, and also get stuff ready for baby boy. And from there, I went to an even better apartment where I was paying $775. Got me an even better job because I wasn't pregnant no more. I spent my whole pregnancy in that apartment, and then moved to this other apartment, way nicer. We had a pool, we had a balcony, they had their own room, they had their own bathroom. I had my own bathroom. The kitchen was small, but it still worked for us. So this is my testimony, y'all, of being a single mom. I went from all being a single parent. I went from getting kicked out of my grandma's house, having to go to a women's shelter, to now, like I said, I'm in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a front yard and a backyard. I'm gonna have to close the video out because y'all don't know what time it is and I gotta go get my kids. The backyard ain't all that, but I know with some tender love and care, we can get it together. I'm planning on being here at least until my mans come home. My mans, but not my mans. We just working on ourselves right now. But at least till he come home. My room is huge. My kids' room is huge. My sister lives here with me. Her room is huge. The bathrooms are nice. Our main bathroom is beautiful. I love it in there. Our living room is huge. Our kitchen is huge. Like, I love this house. I'm beyond grateful for this. Like, y'all, I went from sleeping in my car to a 3-bedroom house. I needed to make this video so I can remind myself of where I was at, because I'm not there no more. I'm not there no more, and I don't plan on going back. I don't plan on going back. Being a single mom made all that possible for me though. Honestly, if I would have hit rock bottom by myself, I probably would have stayed at the bottom. But because I had these 3 kids who need me, I could never stay at the bottom. I have to keep climbing to the top. I have to keep climbing. 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 I have to. So what it's like being a single mom is tough. It's lonely, but it's not impossible. The possibilities only grow more, and it makes you see the real in people. Like, it really does. It makes you see the real in people. It showed me a lot. I used to feel bad for not going to visit my grandma. Now, I ain't been over there and I don't know how long. And the only reason why I would go over there is for a cousin gathering. Other than that, and we ain't even gotta go over there for a cousin gathering. Y'all can come to my house. I got a whole house where we can kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you gotta remove people out your life, even if it is your family. Like, sometimes your family be your biggest haters, your biggest downfall. Like, she did that. But anyways, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you like it, cool. If it made you cry, I'm sorry, y'all. I cried too. It's been a long journey. It's been a long time coming, and I still got a long ways to go. So let me go get these babies. Follow your girl on TikTok at 11Q the Queen 11. Follow me on Facebook at Q the Queen. Instagram is Q the Queen 1. Y'all, I know people be stealing my name, so I gotta make it work. But just follow your girl, follow my journey. This is only the beginning for me and my babies. I know it. I deserve to be rich and have a luxurious, bougie life with 3 kids on my hips. Yes, I do. And I'm gonna have it. So I would love for you guys to stay down and watch me grow and watch this bag get bigger, because the bag is definitely gonna get bigger. And I love you guys. Thank you.